I am. This Hangout is live, but my screen says there's an error loading your app. You're seeing me?
I can see you, and it says live.
Okay, good. So then let's start. Shalom Aleichem B'Shmon Leib. Welcome back from wherever you were.
Should call you? Okay. My son moves to Shabbos. I spoke to my son first.
All right. We're going to start. We're going to start from the Mechaber, Shinta Zayin, Seif Ches. We are in the Breslov Center tonight, in case you were wondering about the different background. There is a wedding in Hanan Shul. Yes. Papi's granddaughter, apparently. Yeah. Okay, Shemini Shrotzim Amur B'Torah. The 8 Shrotzim that are spoken about in the Torah. Torah speaks about 8 Shrotzim which have special dinim. They are Metame Ka'adosha. Make a person tame the size of a lentil if they're dead. So they are a turtle, a mole, different types of lizards, a mouse. Anyway, those 8, Hatzadon Chayev. One who traps them is Chayev. All of those have skins. So when a person traps them, he has something to do with them. He can make the skin into some kind of leather. So therefore, it's going to be a malacha hatzricha legufa. You're going to use the object you did the malacha. That's first of all. Second of all, another point is that it is a...
Is tortoise shell tummy?
A tortoise shell is not tummy, no.
Oh, so a tortoise shell comb is not tummy. Okay.
No, tortoise shell...
But mouse leather is.
No, leather is not tummy once it's processed into leather. If it's still unprocessed, it would make a person tummy, yes, if it was the size of a lentil even. But once it's processed, it does not make a person tummy. Just like a belt, a leather belt, and whatever it is, alligator shoes, you name it, all those fancy things, once they're processed, a pigskin football, you know what I'm saying? All those things, they don't make you tummy once they're processed into leather.
But pig doesn't make you tummy, does it?
I believe it does if you carry it. I believe it does. You have a chumash? Shkayach.
Is that Hebrew or just Hebrew?
Hebrew's fine. Thank you. I believe they do. Now the chiddush of the Shemini Shrotzim is that even though they're small, they make you tummy. But the larger animals all make you tummy anyway. But smaller animals that are not the Shemini Shrotzim do not, like an ant or a fly or anything like that.
I thought you have to go to mikveh if you touch one of the shrotzim. I didn't realize that referred to all dead animals.
Well, in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, you had to. Of course, now you don't have to. But in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, you had to. And it did refer to all larger dead animals unless they were shechted. Yes. All larger dead animals unless they are shechted. Let's just get the pasuk from Teretz Moshe. Yeah, only if they're kosher does shechita help. Here we are. Are you listening? Yossi?
I am, yep.
Here we are, the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse, many verses in chapter 11. Basically, these are the animals that you can eat from all the animals that walk on the ground. Split hooves, chuzit skad. These are the ones you can't eat. It starts off with the ones that only have one of the signs, right? Camel, rabbit, arnevus, whatever that is.
That's a rabbit, isn't it? Or a hare?
Yeah, that's a rabbit. Shafan is the one that's a little bit tricky. Anyway, the pig. And what does it say about all of these? Tameh hu lachem. They are tameh. You cannot eat their flesh, and you cannot touch their dead bodies. They are tameh to you. So all larger animals are tameh. Shechting them will, of course, not help. And then it talks about birds and talks about carrying animals. Whoever carries the dead animal will become tamei until nightfall. And it includes all animals that do not have split hooves or chews their cud. And all animals that do not even have hooves, they just walk on the palms of their feet, they will be tamei. Whoever touches them will be tamei until the evening. Whoever carries them will be tamei until the evening. And okay, here it doesn't say clearly, but there's another pasuk about kosher animals that are not shechted, rather they just die, right, like a nevela. Here it is, right here. If an animal that is for eating will die, whoever touches that animal, that dead carcass, will be tamei until evening. Whoever eats it or carries it will be tamei until evening, and so on. So what's the chiddush?
And if you a kosher animal that dies makes you tamei, then of course a not kosher one that dies will make you tamei.
Absolutely. The only difference is that a kosher animal, if it's shechted, does not make you tamei. That's the only difference. Whereas shechting a non-kosher animal will not help, of course, because it doesn't do anything for it. But in terms of the Shemaina Shratzim, there's two chidushim about those animals. First of all, other small animals are not metamei, right? I don't know exactly how to explain what's small and what's not small, because of those animals, I mean, a mole, a mouse, turtle, some are bigger than others. I don't know exactly. But insects are not metamei, for example. But in any case, and also the shear of the tumah of those animals is a smaller shear. It's the size of a adasha, the size of a lentil, as opposed to the others, which is the size of an olive to make a person tamei. Anyway, the bottom line is the Gemara says that these four have skins. And therefore, when a person traps them, presumably he has a purpose in trapping them. And therefore, it's a malachat tzricha legufa. You're going to use the thing that you trap, so therefore it's a da'iraisa. In addition, because they have skins, they are considered to be biminam nitzoid, meaning to say they are the types of animals that generally people trap. We said that even if a person plans to use the animal that he traps for whatever purpose he has, if it's not an animal that is generally trapped, it's not going to be asur mid'oraisa. Right? Last week we discussed bees. We said it's a machlokes if bees are considered b'midam nitzad, but something like a fly, for example, or a mosquito, those are generally not trapped for their purpose. Right? People, no, they have no skins. People who trap them generally do so to be rid of them, not because they want them. So therefore, even if an individual does want them for experimental purposes, whatever, will not be chayev mid'oraisa.
What about if you're trapping a small animal to feed your bigger animals?
If it's an animal that is generally trapped, that would be chayev. That would be a Torah violation.
If it's not generally trapped, even if you want to trap it for it, it's darabanan?
Darabanan, correct. B'minam nitzad. It has to be that those species are generally trapped. Yesh li ma'al, b'seder.
Okay, just as
Okay. Okay. אני לא. Okay, so a person who damages them, who makes a chabala, who makes an injury in them, even though the blood did not leave them, but rather it became congealed under the skin, like a black and blue mark, chayev is chayev. Okay, so here's the principle. these animals, because they have skins, even though they're small, but they have skins, and therefore their blood can escape their blood vessels and still stay inside their body, under the skin. And therefore, a person who damages them in a way that causes a black and blue mark can be chayiv, because the blood is removed from its vessel, even though it didn't flow, but it's already considered shoichet. Shoichet is shechting, slaughtering, and when a person shechts, they take. Sorry, I took your.
It's okay. No problem.
Sorry. So when a person shechts, he takes the neshama out of that animal. When a person spills the blood of an animal, he takes the neshama, i.e., he takes the life force from that area. Even though the person or the animal is still alive, but he takes that life force he takes away. So that is considered also a tulda of shchita. Take away any blood.
Remind me about the shochet, and Yom Kippurim. The one la'azazel and one shochet for chatat. So this really the par this one shochet is a really gilgul. That's the midrash said.
Okay.
He is really gilgul because he's coming for it's a long time, so it's not in my mind, but it's a gilgul and
taking a life away from an animal without taking out his blood is also.
Yeah.
Why is it a surprise?
It's one of the 39 malachos.
It's still Shisham?
Shchita.
Oh, it's a told of Shisham.
It's if you kill without taking blood, is that a told?
I swat a fly. No blood came out. So yeah, fly. And it goes on the floor and just crumbles up and dies.
Yeah, definitely killing is shchita. Is it the av of the told? I'm not sure.
Even if the told is still there.
Yeah, if a person kills even a large animal without spilling blood, they're chayiv. I mean, there's many ways to kill without spilling blood. Shchita is one of the malachos. Yeah.
So is it because the act of spilling blood, the act of cutting, that's the issue, the act of or taking the neshama, tilas neshama is the issue?
I think it's the tilas neshama is the issue.
So when do we ever see, besides this malacha, obviously the malacha is a very good source, but where do we ever see that like a spiritual thing, a spiritual matter happening, didn't do anything physical, and it's still a sudaraisa, or it's still a problem? Halachically.
Well, this is not a spiritual thing that is only spiritual. In other words, the fact that the life energizing force is no longer energizing the body and keeping it alive, that's a physical manifestation of something spiritual. You understand? If it's just spiritual, you know what I'm saying? And there's no physical effect, you're right. I don't know if there is any isser that we find in the Torah. But here, this spiritual life that is lost is no longer animating the body of that animal or the person, for that matter. So it's not quite spiritual. It's spiritual manifesting in physical.
If we don't allow to take blood on Shabbat, how can we do a bris on Shabbat in the blood?
Because the Torah says so. Uvayoim hashmini yimo b'sar losoi. The word bayoim is extra to teach you even on Shabbos.
Even on Shabbat.
Yeah. If it's not on the 8th day, it's asur. It could have said bashmini, exactly. Because it says bayim hashmini, that means if it's not the 8th day, if it's a bris that's late, then you can't do it on Shabbos.
God forbid if a baby chole, you can push it.
Well, you can push it, but when it's pushed, you can't do it on Shabbos.
I can then another day besides Shabbat.
Correct.
Can you ask a goy to get the skins for you of these animals?
On Shabbat?
What do you mean?
In terms of you can't trap.
On Shabbos?
On Shabbos. But can a goy who traps them, can you use them after?
I mean, if a goy traps it for himself, you can't ask a goy to trap for you like any of the other malachos. If he trapped it for himself, if he's a trapper and you buy it after Shabbos,
If you
why not?
usually buy from him.
Yeah, it's okay.
Doesn't matter when he traps it.
Doesn't matter. Just like a goy who bakes. Let's say a person who eats pas palter, right? Bread baked by a goy. The goy bakes on Shabbos, but it's a city that's mostly non-Jews. So he's not baking for the Jews. The Jews can buy right after Shabbos. They don't have to wait. No b'chdei sheyasa, nothing.
Winn-Dixie
Yep.
does that.
Yep.
But most people, I think, they're buying their big products. Are you?
Oh, from the kosher bakery.
Yeah. But on Shabbos they
Yeah.
bake, on Yom Tov they bake. But I inquired a couple of years ago,
closed
so I
on.
got very upset with that. And what I was told, I spoke to the, I don't know, Rob or whoever it was.
ORB. I think it's ORB, no?
It's all, yeah, ORB, I believe.
Okay.
And they said, what do you call it? If the fire goes out, they have no way of turning it on. They need the way it's set up. They need a key or they need something to turn it on.
But who's the mashgiach? Who's the mashgiach on Shabbos?
There's no
Nobody.
much for Shabbos.
So how is it?
So,
You don't need mashgiach tmidi, but you need somebody who
you can just
could walk in any time.
Yeah.
Unless maybe they have somebody.
Are you gotta walk into a Dixie stand?
Sorry?
Are you gotta walk into a Dixie on Shabbos just to?
But Marayan, Rabbi,
We do it in other bakeries.
Marayan.
I don't know. Maybe the back door.
I mean, to check.
Pretty hard to that back door for the bakery, by the way.
You're sure that
Because
they
it's the
open?
middle of the store.
I don't understand. I don't
The
understand.
back door, the delivery door. I don't know. I don't know.
You're sure that they're open on Shabbos and Yom Tov?
Yeah, 100%.
But-
I'll tell you how
What
I
do they
know.
bake on Shabbos?
But and what do they sell it to? Who do they sell it to?
They're
No, they
going.
bake it because some customers, they say, most like the Yidden are coming there.
Oh,
During Shabbos.
But they're not
Who knows?
Shomer Shabbat.
So
If they
what
buy
they,
that.
what they said was, the problem I had was this. I didn't want, it was Erev Yom Tov, it was Shabbos, then Yom Tov. Sunday night, I think it was. So I didn't want to buy any bread before Shabbos to keep for Yom Tov. I wanted it fresh. So I asked them in the bakery, when do you bake? And they said, at 9 o'clock, come around 10. So I figured Motzi Shabbos, that's what they're talking. They're going to bake Motzi Shabbos. I get there, and then I see a whole bunch of stuff. I said, when did you bake this? They said 9 o'clock this morning. I said, oh
Interesting.
my God. So I got very upset. I don't buy it there
Oh,
normally
which Hashem?
for
Give Hashem.
another reason. And that is, I feel that they're taking away the money from a Yid who, this is his business, and he can't do it on Shabbos, but they can. And therefore they have an economic advantage over him.
well, I don't know. I don't know. It's not simple to me that it's mutter to buy the bread
It's not mutter. but
that
I
was
just don't
baked
feel-
on Shabbos for Jewish customers. It's not simple.
Rabbi, which
If they're
Hashem?
only- if they're only
It's no Hashem in it.
Oh, it's their only
It's not
bakery.
like there's another bakery in the store.
Oh, really?
They're only bakery.
Yeah, but it's all,
Rabbi,
everything in that bakery
Rabbi.
is kosher.
No, 1 second. There's no two bakeries in that store.
No,
Rabbi.
it's part of kosher.
Ah,
They
okay,
have
so that's
two.
something
They have
else.
two fleshik things. The kosher
Yeah,
fleshik.
that's
You buy compare things and you
And
can.
when Dixie,
Well, that's something
And
else.
then there's a non.
That's something
and
else.
when
Then
Dixie-
it could be
when
it's
Dixie-
mutter.
No,
Could be that it's mutter.
That's close. The flesh stuff.
No, my
I'm
point
not
is,
buying that.
if they sell this to the general public
what's it
and
supposed
they
to
have a
do?
majority of non-Jewish people,
It's for sure the majority of non-Jewish people, and they even put their baguettes, their pasi Yisrael baguettes. It's 99 cents, literally, a nice big baguette.
so then
They put
why?
it right in the front of
And
the
the cookies?
cashier.
And the cookies?
Right, well, people buy their stuff. They put
So
it
then
right-
why you can buy right after Shabbos then?
Yeah, I'm saying you can't.
You can.
No,
I'm not
it's
saying
for-
you
and it's
can't.
pasi Yisrael.
If the fire was lit by a Jew,
Yeah.
I didn't go out. That's
I'm
Israel.
saying if it does go out, they can't have no way of relighting it.
I mean, that's what you're saying, telling me.
Yeah, that's what the,
Right, they're not getting paid
what do
by
you call it?
I don't understand.
Right, they're getting paid by the
Of
winner.
course.
I don't understand. It's a Winn Dixie,
So
and they taking on Shabbat,
they're not Jewish.
and you're allowed to buy that.
It's a kosher.
They're not
it's
Jewish.
food on
Why not?
Shabbat.
1 second, 1 second.
It's a proper food.
Are we sure we do that?
Yeah. Based on the information I'm receiving now,
Which receipt?
no problem.
Which Hashem?
The mashgiach doesn't have to be there all the time. He has to be able to walk in.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know how they
There's a
make it
mashgiach
possible for
committee
him to
at the-
walk
at
in.
the Fleshik one. It's
I'm
literally
going to
leads
check that,
to a door
Rabbi.
that
I'm
flips
not
into the
buying
bakery.
that.
Right, but he probably doesn't go there on Shabbos.
No.
I don't-
I have Rabbi
I know the
Davis.
Jewish geek and
I have
they-
Rabbi Davis. He
For
is
sure
under
not. They don't-
OU.
Maybe someone here they asked.
And he knows all
Not
that.
you.
I don't know.
What's that?
Doesn't have to come every Shabbos. Doesn't have to come every Shabbos. They have to know that he might be able to come.
Also, everything.
Mashgiach has
He
the key
could
to
help.
open up the lamp to ignite the
I'm
pilot.
not buying that.
If the pilot goes
I was
off
asking about it.
on
I'm not
Shabbos
buying
Yep.
that. I'm not buying that.
and somebody
My
else
camera
has
is
the key,
shaking a lot. Why
somebody
is
else lights that pilot, then it's Pasakun.
No, but he said that they can't light.
They have, it's a
גוי
mechanism.
ששובת בשבת הוא חייב מיטה.
If the flame goes out, you need a special device or a key or something
מאיפה?
to open the thing to light it. There's no other way. They don't have
אומר
it.
שמישהו נכנס ויוצא.
They don't only Mashiach has it. That's why. That's what I'm
המשגיח הזה הוא לא יהודי.
So actually, in other words,
לא, יש
the pilot is
אני לא קורא
on
לו
all
יהודי.
times.
סליחה,
Yeah.
אני לא קורא לו
The pilot is on all
לקחת את
times.
הלייסנס שלו.
אני לא
Sorry?
קורא לו
The pilot is on
יהודי.
all times. If he's extinguished in Shabbos, there's
לראות,
nothing they
אסור
can do
להסתכל
about it.
בשבת?
That's what he said.
אסור להסתכל בשבת? אני אסגור את העיניים כל השבת?
אני לא חושב.
Okay, my friends.
Or if it really bothers you, wait an hour after Shabbos, then they'll buy it. That's how long it would take them to make it.
That's passport.
Yeah.
לא, it's not possible. I'm saying-
It is passport because as long as the pilot doesn't go off,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the pilot didn't-
Pas Yisrael, if it was lit by a Jew.
that's right.
It's not-
Okay, my friends.
And the lechem or RB right in the
They have this in Zurich, in Switzerland a lot.
That what?
and all you
Somebody lights the fire in a few bakeries in a few of the supermarkets,
all you
Yeah.
and you have a list. A lot of them are pas palta, and some of them are pas Yisrael,
Right.
and you have a list. Interestingly,
doesn't
I think they go in and light it every Sunday morning. But the bread from these places is pas Yisrael in the
Right.
supermarkets there.
Okay. Ushar shrotzim and other shrotzim. A person who damages other shrotzim, anu kills. Killing is not allowed. Like we said last week, harig namal kahirig gamal. If you kill an ant, it's like killing a camel. There's no difference. But if you damage them, then you're only chayev if you made it bleed. You ever seen an ant bleed? Neither have I.
Well, I've seen a fly bleed.
Really?
Yeah, because when you go like that, it's your blood that you're.
No, I'm talking about the actual blood of the insect. Insects have blood, by the way.
Yeah.
Now they don't have blood that's red because they don't need the oxygen. Their blood, they don't have lungs. They get air just directly from the outside. They don't get it, through the lungs. So they don't need
taking the oxygen.
No, they take the oxygen through their skin.
Oh, okay.
There's no system of the lungs and breathing and that. So the point is, I don't know where Ronnie is. And there's a few people missing. I don't know why they didn't come tonight.
who is coming?
I'll send them what's our group.
Who is in the way? Who is in the way?
Okay, please, thank you.
You say who is in the way?
Okay, so the point is that because these insects, besides the Shmoina Shrotzim, have an exoskeleton, they don't have skin, so their blood is either in or out. If it's inside their skeleton, what looks like their skin, whatever, then it gets back reabsorbed into the body. If it's out, it's out. But there's no such thing as the blood is within their body, but out of their circulatory system. There's no such thing. So there's no concept of causing a black and blue mark to an insect. Doesn't exist. It's either killing him.
These are the ones. How would you see it? They're so small.
That's another question. I don't know. Either killing him or making him bleed visibly, but no Kabbalah. Okay, person only chayev for damaging them if blood comes out.
What's with a spider?
Like it's an insect, same thing.
I know, isn't there something on Shabbos?
Killing spiders?
Yeah.
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. You can't kill a spider. That's the bottom line.
Unless you're going to bite you.
There is an opinion that says that that you're allowed to kill spiders because they're dangerous, but it's not the main halacha. The main halacha is unless you know it to be dangerous, you can't kill it because most spiders are not.
But you become a spider, it's good. The movie, you become a spider.
Ants, like all insects, don't have lungs, breathing through tiny holes in their sides, spiracles, one pair per segment. These lead into a network of tiny tubes, putting their entire body, getting narrower and narrower, supplying air and hence oxygen right to the tissues that use it, rather than using blood to transport it like us. Though they can open and close their spiracles, they have little ability to pump air in and out, which happens just through general movement. It's this inability that stops insects getting as big as us with our ultra-efficient lungs and blood. Wow, it's a good thing they don't get as big as us. We'd be in trouble. Okay, so the point is, v'hat sodon. Now, a person who traps these insects, letzorech chayev. If there's a purpose in trapping them, he's chayev. Although he doesn't spell it out, he's only talking about animals or insects that are normally trapped, right? If it's not necessary, or he does it stam without any specific intent, Pater Aval Aser. It's Pater Aval Aser because they have no skin, so presumably he's not going to do anything with them. You can't really do anything with them. There's no point. So therefore, you're exempt because it's called a Melacha She'ein Tzarech Legufa. Ula Rambam Chayev. However, according to the Rambam, you're Chayev because the Rambam holds a Melacha She'ein Tzarech Legufa is Chayev.
So if you put on the traps normally, you don't care what day of the week they get trapped.
Yep.
Mouse or fly, you put little fly paper, sticky paper.
Yep.
Are you chayav on Shabbos if it happens?
No, as long as you put it out before Shabbos, you are Pater. If you put it out on Shabbos, if it gets trapped immediately as you're putting it out, that's chayav, because that's a direct action. If you put it out and then it comes and gets trapped later, that's called a grama. You caused it to be trapped, but it wasn't directly your action, therefore it's Pater. It's not allowed, but it's Pater.
The Malkodet, it's muktzeh.
The what, sorry?
The Malkodet, it's muktzeh. The trap is muktzeh.
Yeah, it's a cliche Malach L'Deser.
So you should not touch it for the first time.
That's also true, but that's another problem, separate problem. Okay, my friends, let us learn the Alter Rebbe. Yeah. Yud Gimel in the Alter Rebbe.
Shchita.
Shchita himei avis malachos. Slaughtering is one of the primary categories of labor that is forbidden on Shabbos. Shoysa b'mishkan be'elim utchashim. In case you are not sure where they shechted in the Mishkan, well, they needed to use the hides of the elim, of the rams, for the skins covering the Mishkan. They needed also the chashim, which we said, whatever animal that is, they needed the skins of that too. They had to kill that. The lo shchita bilvad, it's not only shchita alone, for all you listening, a person who takes the life out of any kind of wild animal, domestic animal, bird, fish, or crawling creature, whether through slaughtering it, through piercing it, or through hitting it, is chayev. Here's the answer to your question. If he chokes it till it dies, so that's a tulda of shavah, because there's no actual blood spilt, but he's taking the neshama anyway.
Is the tulda also chatas?
Yes,
It's chayav, right?
correct. Chayav chatas. It's only relevant in terms of if he does a tulda with another tulda of the same av, or an av and the tulda at the same time, forgetting in the same way, he's only have once for a carbon, that's all.
Yossi, what's his name? Yossi? Is it Yosef?
I don't know. He's not really going to help. Let's see if we get any responses from the others.
He is the nine. And the whole from the synagogue, they're friends.
He could. I just feel bad to make him schlep, but he could. He's probably at the wedding, though. יש שם חתונה בשמה. הנכדה של זה
It's very difficult.
Jose.
It's a smart term.
כן, נכדה שלו.
Okay.
She's getting married?
Yeah. So he's probably at the wedding. But if we have none, I'll ask him.
No, they didn't do anything. She just got very busy. No. Kids.
No, let's have this.
Right.
She said,
No, בסדר. אני בסדר. Okay. לפיכך, אם נוטל דג מן ספר של מים, והיא ניחוי עד שמס, חייב משום חוינק. A person who takes a fish out of a bucket of water and he leaves it until it dies is chayiv because of choinik. He's basically strangled the fish because the fish can only breathe in water. By taking him out of water, he's starved him of oxygen and he's killed the fish, even though it didn't bleed. So that's also chayiv as the tulda of shochet. Now, for your information, the Alter Rebbe says, even if it's not dead yet, if the size of a sela, which is approximately 2.5 centimeters in diameter, that's that coin, if that amount of the skin of the fish is dry between its gills, which is where it breathes, so that is enough to make it die. It's not going to live, even if it's still flopping around. Even if you put it back, it's too late. Chayiv is chayiv, even if it's put back into the water, it's not going to be able to live.
You know, if you take a fish and you put it in a freezer, and then you take it outside, is it alive?
no.
I saw.
How long?
I don't know. I saw it.
How long?
I don't know. I did not check. But
Check.
it freeze.
I understand, but you have to check how long. I mean, eventually it's going to die. It's not breathing. Not only until it's actually dry. Rather, one is liable as soon as it dries to the extent that one touches that air with his finger, a viscous secretion becomes attached to it and drawn out by his finger, like a gel kind of thing. That's dry enough for the fish to be dead. So if a person has a fish in a barrel, and he's afraid that the fish is going to die, and then it's going to smell out the whole barrel, and maybe there's going to be other fish in there that are going to get, sick or who knows what, you cannot tell a goy to take it out before it dies, because you're killing it. And you can't tell a guy, I mean, the guy is killing it, but you can't tell a guy to do an Issur D'Oraisa.
Can't you just take it out with a cup of water or a bucket of water?
Yeah, that you could do.
Oh, you take a cup of water and you take it out?
It's not muktzah or anything, is it?
A fish is muktzah, yeah. A live fish is muktzah.
You cannot say because you changed the aquarium to the cup, it can cause it to die.
No, you take it from the cup and you put it in something else, in other water. In answer to your question,
and if you don't have to shecht a fish, if a fish dies by itself, can you eat it? And if so, can you not eat it if it dies on Shabbos because it was muktzah? It was alive before Shabbos.
Is a fish muktzah if it dies on Shabbos? If it jumps out of the water and dies on Shabbos. So, I'm sorry?
Said we would be taking that for that.
You light, we're allowed to
That
put
was the
it back.
shita
Yes.
that, like Reb Shlomo was on about, that was.
You
that's
put
allowed.
piece of paper.
Right.
What do we say at the final halacha?
For the purpose of Tzar Balachayim,
Yeah.
you know,
Should I put it back?
you could
On the
rely
box.
on that
On the
opinion.
Let's
box.
say you don't care
Right.
about
Carton.
it. It's not an expensive fish. Some fish are expensive. Fish you gotta save it. But let's say it's not whatever.
Any fish
Fish
that
die. Next.
No, it's not
Should you or
next.
should you not put it back if you don't care?
Yes.
I don't know if you have to put it back. You have to save every life of every animal that's going to die. I mean, you'll be busy the whole day going around.
No, but it's under
If it happens, you're there.
I think he's only talking about a fish in your aquarium, where you have the other reason to be lenient that some say that a fish is not muktzah, or any animal is not muktzah because it's your pet. I don't know if he would allow it by a stam fish. You know what I'm saying? That it's not your pet. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're allowed to
the
live.
thing is, it fell out of your aquarium.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Rabbi,
there. I don't think he says that it has to be a big financial
Rabbi,
loss.
we allowed to
I don't think so.
Stam.
The fact that
No, I was
one,
asking you, should you or should you not? That's the question.
You allowed to
Is
turn
it-
around and leave it alone? We allowed to do that, Rabbi?
Yeah.
So my question is, if you see him jump, you see him in the field, and you look and you turn around and you go, you allowed to do that?
If you're allowed to put them in,
Yes, we said.
he's looking it up. The rabbi's looking it up.
Agreed.
So we have a source of information.
What about the men in the diesel classes there? This is why it's not booked by the English person.
Fire is
Fire and what classes there. Falcon is
I remember something.
I haven't got. So that's Pasacon.
That's the cool.
Pasacon is the word recognize the everything.
That's Palmos. So what's the Palmos?
Rania out of town.
Huge personalized, and the boy can link it with.
Rania is out of town, Rabbi, he says.
The Jew has to do something involved in the thing.
okay, I'm not finding it at this moment. So
You can do something else. But on Shabbos, you can't do a lot.
I don't know if it has to be a financial loss. I don't think so. I'm not finding it at this moment. Okay.
It's a cooler to be able to put this fish back, or that's what a person.
It seems like a kula that allows it. Seems like a kula.
because it seems like a cooler, right?
Seems like a kula because it is muksa in a
Oh, so
normal
it is
circumstance. Normally it is muksa. And some say it's not. You can rely on it if
Is it really a
necessary.
pet? You really categorize it as a pet?
You know,
Pet is something they get, like, I don't know.
yeah.
Pet. Yeah, I guess it's yours. I don't know if it's a pet.
Well, it's not a pet in that you can't pet it,
Right.
but
Put your hand in the
it's something you use for your beautification of your house.
relaxing.
Okay, so the story goes. The story goes, my friends, that oh yeah, just to go back to Yessi's question. Fish that were not trapped when Shabbos came in are certainly muktzah for the whole Shabbos, because when Shabbos came in, you were not expecting to eat them because they were not, they weren't trapped. They were in the wild, right? So even if they happened to jump out of the ocean onto your feet, they remain muktzah because you had no expectation to eat them. If a fish was in your aquarium, already trapped, it would seem it's still muktzah because you still didn't expect it to jump out of the water.
If you're the type of person that eats fish alive,
Can't eat fish alive on Shabbos.
on Shabbos or any other time,
The other time it's Baal Tashaktu. It's not Eivim Menachai. Eivim Menachai does not apply to water animals, to water creatures. It's not Eivim Menachai, but it is Baal Tashaktu. It's
Even
considered
literally when it's alive?
literally when it's alive.
That's not what you meant. You meant eating it while it's alive?
Yeah. they have
That's a
these
very short amount of time. You can eat it like
fraternities or
immediately.
sororities or whatever they do.
It says, and you shall gather them, and the gathering itself is the same as shechting, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
small little fish.
Exactly. Yes, it's some mishigas that some people have, that they eat it as it's still squirming.
Yeah.
Who eats it?
It's a mishigas that people have. I saw this video. It
What,
was
you're talking about fish?
viral videos with this. It was in China where you can go and buy all kinds of crazy things.
Delicacies.
This woman goes, she chooses a frog, massive frog, and you see them slitting its throat, dunking it in hot water, serving it to her on the plate, and the eyes are still blinking as she's eating it. It's the most disgusting thing.
Yeah, but it's probably not actually alive.
It could be it's not alive. It's just
If they've slashed its throat, surely it's just this is the issue that they have with the PETA videos that go into the slaughterhouses. They say that the animal's still alive when they're chopping it up, but it's just had shchita.
Right. Yeah, the
So-
body does twitch for a while afterwards. So I'm not sure what the clinical definition of death is. Go ahead.
And their eyes are rolling around. It says they say it's still conscious, which is rubbish.
Right.
Fish, we used to gut them. I didn't. I was a little kid. I used to watch them how they gut them, and then they would cut it into pieces. And when after you cut it into pieces, you still see the fish going like this.
Reflex.
In
Reflex.
individual
It's called reflex.
sections. Huh?
Wow.
They're dead. Reflex.
Of course they did. But
They're
we still-
reflexed.
Yeah. When I was in college, I took a biology course, and we dealt with like frogs and live frogs. They would piss them or whatever. They stick a thing in their head, they mush their brain. And we cut up the frog, and then I take the heart, and you put saline solution, salt and water, and you drop it on it. And I used to keep these hearts going for days.
Really?
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
I used to take them home. I used to put it in a paper towel, take them home, put
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, וכל זה בנית לדאג ממקום שאין ניצר רואים את שם, ואם אתה עושה לכלל, כגוין ספר וחלס. המלית למקום שאין מחוץ לצדה שם, גוין נוער ברך, אפילו דרסיה מיד למים שבכלי חיים משום צדה. This answers the question that was asked last week at some point. Somebody asked if you can fix the malacha of trapping by releasing it immediately. So Alter addresses this right here. All the above applies with regard to moving a fish from a place where it was already captured and ready to be taken, i.e. there is no need to catch it. For example, it's already in a basin or a barrel of water, see section 497. If, however, he takes the fish from a place where it must first be caught, for example, a river or pool, he is liable for trapping even if he immediately transfers it to a container of water. So if you take it from a barrel and you put it in another barrel, you haven't done any malacha d'oraisa. Malacha d'rabbanan, moktzah, fine. But in terms of killing, no, from barrel to barrel. In terms of trapping, no, it's in a barrel, it's already trapped. But if you take it from the river and you put it into a barrel, even though it's going to live, you've trapped it. Even if you take it from one river and put it into another river, I'm saying once you trapped it, that's already this. Even if you didn't grab it with your hand at all, you rather, actually, it doesn't talk about releasing it. Okay, so I'll take it back. It's just talking about trapping it and putting it into a small container. Rather, you simply drew it from the river in the bucket. Understand? That's how some people do fishing. You know, they put the bread in the bucket with a little hole in it. People go, the fish go through the hole to get the bait, and then they just pull the bucket out. You know what I'm saying?
Slide.
So the point is that once it's in the bucket, it's considered trapped. I'm sorry?
Because it wasn't there before.
Yeah, if I'm talking about if it was in a large body of water, you take it out in a bucket, that is trapping. Taking away the life for which a person is chayev, it's not only if he took the entire life force of that animal, but even if he took part of the life force. A person who took blood from one of the limbs of an animal, He's chayiv for taking the life out of that place. The animal is still alive, but the energy that was in that place, that's taken away. The blood represents the energy because it's the nutrients, it's the oxygen, etc.
Rabbi, we said without to untrap trap from
Yes.
the animal.
Yes.
But if that trap is caused lead, like catch his leg and it's bleeding his leg. Now, if you touch it, it's like part of the blood.
Touch it, you're not going to make it bleed if you touch it.
Just to open and release.
Yeah, it's not going to make it bleed. I don't think so. I don't know.
And let's say this animal you don't want it, so you open it, you can leave it to trap the next one while you release this one.
I don't think so. No, can't leave it to trap the next one. No, can't leave it to trap the next one. You have to close up shop.
To close the shop.
Yeah. Ki adam hu nefesh. Tes vav v'lo yatshi tzedam mamish. Not only if the blood actually leaves, even if a person simply damaged one of the limbs of a living being so that the blood gathered under the skin, even though the blood never went out of the body, because that blemish will never return. Because the blood is gathered under the skin, it's impossible for it to go back to its place. That blood is never getting reabsorbed into the system. I mean, the body will eventually carry it out of the body through whatever system, through whatever system it has of cleaning itself. But it's waste. It's never going to go back into the circulatory system. Once the blood is underneath the skin, it's never going to go back to its place. The only thing is that the skin is blocking from going out. And therefore it's chayiv for taking the life force out of that place. That's to do with this week's parsha that we read this morning. Make aviv ve'imai moisumas. In order to be chayiv for hitting a parent, as a shalom, not only if the child draws blood literally from the parent, even if it's just a black and blue mark that the child causes, that is a chiyuv mitzvah, it's a capital crime, because that blood that was drawn, even though it stayed under the skin, is never going back into the system. That's considered a capital crime. When do we say this? That a person who causes a black and blue mark is chayiv only if he did damage to a human being, or to a domestic animal, or a wild animal, or a bird, or one of the 8 shratzim that are spoken about in the Torah in Parashat Shmini. Specifically, they are the choyled, which could be a weasel or mouse, the mouse itself. He doesn't spell it out, the Alter Rebbe, but the turtle. Some understand the anaka to be a porcupine. Choymet and shamas, I don't know the exact translation. The point is, shekolelu, all of each and every one of these, they have a skin that does block the blood from going out. Lata is a lizard. I guess reptiles also have blood.
No, lizards, red.
Right? So there you have it.
Lizards are cold-blooded animals. All reptiles are cold-blooded, so they have blood, but it's the same temperature as their environment. Right.
But I'm saying that from here we see that they have a circulatory system which is similar to ours in that they can have a black and blue mark, and that blood is not reabsorbed into the system. As opposed to the insects, that the blood is either in or out. As long as it's in, it can go back into the system.
Yeah, they have a pulse and everything. They're the same as us. They just don't use it to
regulate the temperature.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, they do use it to regulate their temperature. So they have to go and find a place the right temperature because it will actually go around. They just don't warm it up.
Mm-hmm. Themselves.
Yeah, they don't have central heating like us.
Right. I hear you. שכל אחד מאלו יש לאור המעכב על אדם מלוצס. אבל לכל בשער שקוצר ממושם, but if a person damages any of the other creeping, crawling animals, אין חייב עד שיצא מהדם, is only חייב if they actually bleed. אבל נרצה לא יוצא, but if the blood was internal, merely collects and does not flow out, this wound can be reversed. If it actually left the system, it would leave the body because it has no skin that blocks it from going out. It's all or nothing with those animals. Here we go with Tazayin and Alta Rebbe. We already explained in 278. Some say, most Rishonim say, that a melacha shein zarach legufa is pater. Explain, please. Who can explain what is a melacha she'ina tzricha legufa? Benefiting from?
Whatever it is. The action. Thing that was done.
You can benefit from the action. You can do it otherwise. You're not benefiting from the item that the malacha is done with. That's what Taisus understands. Malacha tzach legufa. That's what Alter Paskins in Reish Anches. Malacha tzach legufa means you don't need the guf hadavar. You don't need the object that you're doing the malacha with. That's the definition of it. So that's the halacha according to most Rishonim. Lefikach, therefore, that's the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, by the way. Lefikach, therefore, anoitel neshama in echayv kein tzarich leguf hachai shaneshama nitla meno. In order to be chayiv for killing, the person has to need the body of the animal that is being killed, or the skin, which is part of the body. So then he's tzarich legufa. He needs the actual object that he's doing the malacha with, which is he's killing this animal, and he needs the animal. Okay, so that's malacha tzarich legufa. So what's an example? Another example is when he needs the actual life force because he wants to feed the blood of his dog. His dog likes blood. He wants to feed his dog the blood. Should help. Or he is taking revenge on his enemy, and he wants to see the blood of his enemy flow so he can get the pleasure of experiencing revenge against his enemy.
Let's go.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it across the street. They have 13, so they can't send us 4.
At what time? I don't want to start the share. I apologize.
No, I'm not really that.
No, sorry. Okay. Aval, however, a person who kills a snake in order that it should not hurt him, that is a malacha that he does not need the actual body of the thing he's doing the malacha with. Why does he want to kill the snake? Not because he needs the snake, but because he doesn't want the snake to bite him. He doesn't need neither the body of the snake nor the blood. He's only killing the snake so that it shouldn't damage him.
But here it says it's a malacha saricha legufa, not she'ena saricha.
Where are you reading?
After 69.
אבל ההרג נחש בפרש לזקן, הרי זה מלאכה שאינה צריכה לגופה.
Oh, the English doesn't have it in there.
When, however, one kills a snake so that it will not harm him, it is a melacha she'ena tzricha legufa. That's what it says in my English.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So to a person who traps an animal is not chayev unless he needs the body of the animal he's trapping. Person who traps any normal size animal, whether it's a wild animal, whether it's a bird, whether it's a fish, he's chayev shestam tzedasn tzarich guvnei. Why do you normally trap an animal? Because you want the animal. You want to eat it, you want to feed it to somebody, you want to use the skin, etc. The same thing when it comes to the above mentioned 8 crawling things. Normally a person who traps them has a use for them. And therefore it's chayav stam sedasim tzorech oiron, because they have skins, so you'll use their skins. And these 8 animals are not dangerous animals. And therefore there's no need to trap them to be safe from their bite or their sting. Because they don't normally do damage. I do think that some say that one of the 8 is a porcupine. It does do some damage, but I guess it's not worth trapping for that damage. It's not so dangerous that you would trap a specific.
They're defensive, not aggressive things, aren't they?
That's true. It's true, but a lot of dangerous animals are also only defensive.
Oh, it's something like an iguana.
Yeah.
Not the, I don't think they try to bite you. I don't know.
I don't think they try to bite you, no. On the other hand, I don't think anybody has any use for them.
They do.
They do?
Big part of their tail. They say it tastes like chicken.
There's so many things that taste like chicken.
Not in Central America, right? They eat those things. In Chile, they didn't do it?
When I was in the Everglades, they said that the alligators taste like chicken.
Yeah, eat alligators.
Okay. But I don't know if that's what most people catch alligators for.
No. Well, imagine those who catch them use the meat.
Maybe.
Next to what? Eat what? Iguanas? Yeah, for sure. Central America.
Okay. A person who traps any of these other crawling things is only chayev if he traps them for a purpose. For example, for a refuah or similar things. If he trapped them without any intent, he's potter. Because normally the reason that you trap them is to be safe from their damage. Because they do damage generally. Excuse me. Or the pure people do not trap them for the skin because they have no skin. I'm talking about insects. When it comes to insects, they're not fit for eating. So there's no point in trapping them for eating. Most of them are not needed or trapped to make a refuah, to make a medicine out of it. So unless you specifically have that intent, it's not going to be chayav. Okay, and because he doesn't need the body of the thing with which the guf malacha is being done. Why doesn't he address the issue of b'minam nitzaid? I don't know why it doesn't address this issue of a Mida Mitzod.
הכל לא טוב. כן? Yes, that's what I wrote. I try it. טוב, ברוך השם, עבודה. בסדר? אני נראה עייף. יש טוב, עושה איתו סקפה. יושו. יש חלב.
Yeah. He brings down here in the Dirshu, the Pshat. It's a strange thing because he says that you're chayev if you intend to use the snake or the insect for a fool.
That's what I learned next week.
Yeah. Which is why you're chayev. If we just finished saying that if you did it bastam, you're potter. Because the presumption is you have nothing to do with it.
It's a mitzvah to kill because it's dangerous.
No, we're not talking about if it's dangerous.
Oh.
Stam, insect, ant, beetle, whatever. So we said before, the assumption is you have no use for it. You don't need it. Can't make leather out of it. The assumption is that you have no use for it, so it's protect as mlachas naguf. Well, if you have no use for it, then probably nobody else has any use for it. If nobody else has any use for it, why would it be considered a davar shebemina nitzad? Why would it be considered a thing that is normally trapped? To the extent that we say that if you did it with the intent of using it, like for medicine, you're a chayev. Why are you chayev? It's not normal for people to trap it. So they explain here that what it means is that most people who do trap it for a purpose. It's not that most people trap it. No, most people don't trap snakes and scorpions and all those things. But the question is, do most people who trap it have a use for it? Or do most people who trap it simply do so to protect themselves from harm? So if most people who trap snakes or whatever do so because they have some medicinal purpose for it, so then it's Mamina Nitzah. Then it could be a deraisa. But in order for it to be deraisa, you personally have to have an intention that you're going to use the thing itself. Understand? So it is both conditions.
If you wanted us a pet, or crazy people that are control restrictors and stuff as pets.
Yes. What's halacha?
It's already trapped. It shouldn't be a problem.
Trapped shouldn't be a problem. But what if it's not trapped?
Then you shouldn't be able to.
Deraisa d'Rabbanan.
You're right, if you trap it.
It is a melacha tzorich legufa. You need the thing. You want the thing. So that's tzorich legufa.
If you trap it for pet, so you don't know how to trap. It's like a deer coming to your house. You cannot close the door, Rabbi. And you want the deer for a pet.
You can stand in the doorway, though.
Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
Also, it's also you don't know how to do that.
That's the rabbi.
No, you can't stand it. If you know it's inside, you can't. If you know it's inside, you can't. You know it's inside, you can. The Rashba says as long as your intention is to guard the house, you can. Anyway, but that's not the main halacha. If you know it's inside, you can't do it. Only if you did it without realizing it.
What was the question?
If you can go into a doorway, if there's a deer inside your house, to stop it from going out. The president's son-in-law's uncle was in my aunt's elementary school class. Going back to,
Yeah, okay.
going back to the 50s probably. And so he brought back an alligator when he went to Florida. Came back to New Jersey with a little alligator. He announced one day that his mother's making him give it away. So who in the class wants the alligator? So my aunt took the alligator home.
They say that the sewer system in New
They
York
got
is
that?
full of alligators.
Exactly.
People come with the little ones, they flush it down the toilet. It gets to be a big one.
So she kept it till the summer, and she told her mother, "This is how you take care of it. I'm going to camp. You take care of it." When she got back, it was dead. The cat ate it. Anyway,
Small one, baby one?
her mother took care of it.
Ah.
She took care of it. Okay, so
This is the one who had a bregus with his brother.
I don't know how many brothers there are, but one of them had a big brother, but I don't know which one. Okay.
Son-in-law has a brother.
Son-in-law has a brother, I know. Yeah,
Who was a Democrat.
they were all Democrats.
No, I know, but he refused. He made it very public that he was not voting for
Okay,
the other guy.
das ist gefährlich.
Yeah.
Okay, we continue and we say,
I don't understand this last sentence, and I guess I'm reading it in English. If so, trapping them is a forbidden labor performed for a purpose that does not involve the object with which the forbidden labor was performed, since it has no need of the living thing that was trapped. And that entity is the object of the forbidden labor being performed. That's
so here's what it means.
a lot.
In order to be chayev for doing any malach on Shabbos, according to most Rishonim, I'm saying most because the Rambam is different. The Rambam holds you are chayev for a malacha she'ein tzarich l'gufa. But according to most Rishonim, if it's a malacha tzarich l'gufa, you're potter. What does that mean? That means you have to need the item which you're doing the work with. If you have no use for that item, you're potter. Very simple example right now. If you're digging a hole in your backyard, but you don't need the hole, you need the earth. Because you need the earth. You need the earth. You're making a sandbox on the other side of the house. So you take the sand or the earth from here and you bring it over there.
You don't allow, Rabbi, you want it.
You're not allowed, but
sand?
it's not a malacha d'oraisa, according to most Rishonim.
It's the same thing if you have a shlolit shel water, water from raining in your backyard. You want to pass, going back and forth. You put cash. You don't put sand. Because sand is for good, and cash, for tevin, for the animal. We study that.
Yes, we studied that. That's if you're fixing your yard. Here, you're not fixing your yard. On the contrary, you're making a hole. You're making a hole in your yard, which you have no use for. But the point is that the hole has no use. The hole is not useful to you. So therefore, that's a malacha she'ein tzarich l'gufa. You don't need it, and therefore you're potter.
But the sand, you can do whatever you want.
What are you going to do with the sand? That's a separate issue. I'm not talking about what you're going to do with the sand.
Playground to play with.
I'm not talking about what you're going to do with the sand. You put it in a sack and you're using it for a sandbag for the next hurricane.
You're allowed to do that.
I'm not talking about what you're doing with the sand. I'm talking about the fact that you made a hole is not chayev mid'oraisa because you don't need that hole.
The Rabbanan you chayev.
The Rabbanan, yes. That's called a malacha she'ein tzarich l'gufa. So, for that matter, I mean, this is a primary example, like we're going to learn now. A person who kills a poisonous insect or any insect that is bothering them doesn't need the body of that insect. He's not going to do anything with the body of that insect. He just doesn't want the insect to bother them. That's another example of malacha tzarich l'gufa. So that's what he's saying here. When it comes to trapping these animals that have no skin and their meat is not edible, unless you specifically have an intention to use their bodies for something,
around you, right?
Other than that, it's not chayiv automatically because it's a malacha she'ein tzarich l'gufa. You have no need for that actual body that you're doing the work with. You understand? Daniel?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, back to the Machaber. Parosh. Anikra. Vroigas. Speaking of Vroigas. Parish Hanikra Vroigas. Lashon Harav. Also, Letzure Elam Kenu al Besari V'oiktzoi. V'asa Lahargoi.
If it's on Besaro, you're allowed to do that.
Oh, we're going to see.
So it's-
V'af lo yim lelenu b'yod Hashem yahagenu. Eli itlenu b'yod v'yizrikenu. Aval kina muta laharga.
Why
Mafala begodav mikinim lo yahagenu lo b'yod v'zarkan. Aval mafala roishem muta laharga. I'm going to explain in a minute. Okay, so if a flea is biting you, then you're allowed to remove it. You're allowed to remove it. That's not considered Seder because you're simply removing it. You're not catching it. You're taking it away. It's not considered Seder.
It's on a gufo? It's bothering his gufo? When we said that? It's biting.
Meaning to say, whenever you take an animal that you have no purpose for, it's only an Isser Rabbanon. So that's what it is here. It's Isser Rabbanon. Now, because you have Tzaira de Gufo, you have pain in your body, that it's causing you pain, it's biting you. So the Chachamim allowed you to do this Isser Rabbanon of taking it and throwing it. But not to kill it. Can't kill it. Rather you take it and throw it out. Okay. What about doing some damage? Like just squeeze it a bit so that it should kind of,
Giant squeeze that he has no chance to walk after
squeeze it
that.
enough to damage it. Squeeze it enough to damage it, but not enough to kill it.
Do we understand how much that is? I mean,
Yeah, very hard. You cannot kill it, but you know what? You cannot kill it. You can smoosh it as much as you want. You cannot kill it. You know how you kill it? By putting two metal together, and then you kill it. By the hand, it's like you cannot kill it. You can hold it as much tight. I know that for a fact, Rabbi. You cannot kill that because I don't know why.
What can't you kill?
The flea, you know that you cannot kill it.
I'm not so sure about that.
You cannot kill it, Rabbi.
Okay. The point
You
is,
can't kill a flea?
You can kill it with two rock. You can do it two metal. You can kill it with
Two fingernails.
nails. You can kill it, but now with the hand.
Yeah, two fingernails.
I don't know.
It's a tough.
But in any case, the point
Monkeys
is,
do it with their teeth.
the point is that you cannot even do that because you may end up killing it.
mm-hmm.
However, a louse is different.
What kill us?
Allowed to kill a louse on Shabbos.
What?
Kina.
So that's why we said that.
Why?
That's why I'm asking before.
Because we learn that in order to be chayiv for Netilas Hashem on Shabbos, it has to be similar to what they did in the Mishkan. In the Mishkan, they killed Elim and Chashim, and those are both created by a Zachar and a Nekeva. They are created by the mating of a male and female. Whereas there are some species which, according to Chazal, do not come from a male and a female. They come from what is called spontaneous generation. They just come. A rotting corpse just becomes maggots.
forms this?
The Gemara
They're
said,
formed from the rotting, from the rot.
Rabbi, the Gemara talked
This
about
cannot be explained scientifically. Don't ask me to. Cannot be. Oh, I cannot. I didn't say cannot. Take it back if I said it. It's difficult to understand scientifically. Scientifically, all of these animals have mothers and fathers. They mate, and they lay eggs, and the eggs, you don't see it because they lay eggs, they go off. But the eggs are what hatch.
That's what the Torah says.
The Torah says that they don't come from a male and a female. My pshat, I don't know if it's oisgehalten, meaning I don't know if it's borne out by science and by the Torah's perspective on this. But my pshat, last time I learned this, was that the eggs that are laid are microscopic. Torah does not exactly. Torah doesn't recognize those as being anything. So when they are born and they become visible to the human eye, they are considered to be something new, as if they didn't come from the parents, and therefore it's not associated with the parents, and therefore it's not chayiv. I just don't know about it. If it's true, I mean, you can see the eggs. I mean, you can actually see the nits when they're attached to the hair. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
about the mosquitoes. It's a female or male. So it was no male or no female. For 7 years, they did not talk to her because she did not share with them something like that with the mosquitoes. There's a story about that.
What?
In the Gemara.
I don't know.
A long time ago, I was studying about that.
The Torah says that lice is does that have a mother and father?
No, it's not a mother and father.
Does it have lice?
Yep.
So the pshat doesn't go over lice.
It's hard to understand.
What about mosquitoes? It's female and male.
Hard to understand. Unless maybe they start they start microscopic, then they grow. I don't know. I really don't know. Sorry?
The mosquitoes, they're female and male?
I think so.
Female babies.
I think the daddy longlegs is a male mosquito, no? Those big ones.
Mosquitoes have children? Mother produces little baby.
Yeah, that's why they suck our blood, because they need to feed their babies.
Oh, to deliver it to them?
Yeah, that's why it's only the females that do it. Only the females suck the blood, not the males.
Oh, really? There are mosquitoes that will not bite you?
The males? No, I don't think so.
They're releasing millions, about 500 million or something.
They're releasing 500 million?
In South Miami. What they do is, they get rid of the Zika virus. What they do is they infect regular mosquitoes that do not bite, with some kind of virus, that when they mate with a female that has this, it kills them. So they what do you call it? Just listen to the radio till they have to release a huge number in a small area because they try get them to mate with the females, and there are other males around, but they don't want the other males to mate, so that they won't have more children. When we ask them to have more, yeah, sure, they obviously have more, or else where are they coming from?
This is one of the things that the scientists, they think they're so smart.
Yes, I know.
Who knows? Trying to mess with Hashem's world.
In a few years, we'll try to figure out how to get rid of whatever bug they put in.
Exactly. In Australia, they brought I don't remember what it was, but they had a pest.
The cows had dung. They tried to get rid of the dung because that caused a lot of flies with dung beetles. Then the dung beetles preferred the wheat. And they thought, oh dear, we've got a problem. How do we get rid of dung beetles? Aha, bring in cane toads. Now there are cane toads all over. Millions and millions and millions of them. Not to mention all the camels.
Yep.
Isn't that the same thing with Yerushalayim? Yerushalayim had a lot of rats. They brought in cats.
Yeah. It's Israel. That's what they say. That's what they say. Okay, nevertheless, the Alter Rebbe says that you can only kill the lice if they're on your hair. But if you're delousing your clothes, from time to time, you got to delouse your clothes. This was the lifestyle unfortunately, in the way they lived. It wasn't easy in those days. But once in a while, you got to delouse your clothes. So that you could not do on Shabbos, because we're afraid maybe you'll find a flea and you'll kill it, which is awesome. On the hair, there's usually only lice, not fleas. So it's no problem, because you'll kill the lice, you won't kill the fleas. But on the clothes, if you would be allowed to kill the lice, you might forget and kill the fleas, so that's awesome.
On the hair, is there actually lice or there's the nits?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Both. Okay, we learn the Alter Rebbe Hilchos. We're up to? No, Yud Zayin. Yes, up to Yud Zayin. אפילו לכתחילה מותר לוצר כל מיני רמושים שדקן להזיק כגון נחשים והעקרב וכיוצא בהם אפילו מקום שאין מיסים בנשיכוסם. Indeed, a person is even permitted as an initial preference to trap any type of creeping animals that is wanted to cause harm. For example, snakes and scorpions and the like. This applies even in places where their bite is not life-threatening. Moreover, they may be trapped even if, at present, they are not pursuing the person at all and he is concerned only with the future, that they might pursue and bite him or another person. Or possibly he will not protect himself from them and they will bite him. Or possibly they will harm others who do not know to protect themselves from these animals. Going to catch up with the Hebrew. Afilu ein rotzen ata acher v'klal el shechosh kol asad shama yutzer achom acher adam acher acher adam acher v'yinashchuhu v'shem liyishmer atzmehem v'yinashchuhu v'shem yizikol achem shleidu l'sham mehem shkemen she'en etzadam l'sholehen aslam mehezeka neizem lach shesech l'gufa. Because in all these instances he's trapping these animals only to save himself from others or others from the harm they would cause, trapping them to consider lach shesech l'gufa. Again, listen carefully. He's trapping an animal that may or may not be life-threatening. He doesn't know. Only a very small percent, not small. Only some snakes are dangerous in terms of life-threatening poison. Right? Scorpions, same thing. He doesn't know. And the animals are not chasing after him. They're minding their own business. Nevertheless, if you hold a melacha she'ein tzorach l'gufa is potter, so you're allowed to trap them. Why? Because after all, you are doing it for the sake of protecting yourself or others from harm. So it's a melacha she'ein tzorach l'gufa, and in a case where you're possibly protecting somebody from major damage, even a possible loss of life, we don't know. It's like a double suffix. Maybe they'll chase after you, maybe not. Maybe they're dangerous, maybe not. Nevertheless, it's some lachar tzach l'gufa. The chachamim were lenient.
This is like what I said that it says in Shemiras Shabbos
About bees for kids.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know that it will sting a child. You don't know whether the child is allergic or whatever.
Yes, correct. V'yaf shekol melacha she'en tzorach l'gufa potter, אבל לא שמנו בספר. כאן את יחכם לגמרי חשש הזק הגוף. Even though, sorry, I take it back. I said before that you don't know if they're going to kill or not. Alter was talking about a case where you know it's not going to kill. Af b'makoyim she'enon memisin bin shichasen. You know that these animals are not dangerous animals. Nevertheless, it's still allowed. Why? Because they do serious damage. They don't kill, but they do serious damage. The Chachamim are lenient. The Chachamim are lenient that allow you to trap it. Listen carefully. Now, even those that say that Melacha She'en Tzorach L'Gufa is Chayev, who's that? Who holds Melacha She'en Tzorach L'Gufa is Chayev? Rambam, thank you very much. Based on Rabbi Yehuda. Now, we know you cannot desecrate the Shabbos for the sake of protecting yourself from bodily harm, if it's not loss of life. Unless it's potential loss of life. Nevertheless, listen carefully. Khan over here, Kivan she'enoi sodan kidarka, because he does not trap them in the usual way. Rather, he is involved in them to make sure they don't do damage. He puts a keli over them, and makavalem, or he surrounds them, or he ties them up so they shouldn't be able to do damage. Therefore, they allowed you, even when it comes to these crawling things that do not kill at all, they only do damage. Listen carefully. If you wanted to trap an animal for using it, you would obviously trap it in such a way that you could pick it up and bring it with you to the laboratory or to wherever you need it. If, on the other hand, you're simply making sure that it shouldn't do damage, you don't have to do that. You can take a cup and put it over the animal like that. Even though, you can't really get the animal like that, because as soon as you pick the cup up, it goes away. You could put another piece of paper and then move it, okay, but right now you haven't done that yet. All you've done is put the cup over it.
And you trap it.
You trapped it in an unusual way. A person who would want the animal for using it would not trap it that way. You trap it in an unusual way because you don't need the animal, you just want it not to hurt you. Or another way that you could make sure it doesn't hurt you is by surrounding it with stuff so it has nowhere to go. But again, it's not in a cage that you can take it somewhere. It's just surrounded, can't move. Another way is simply to tie its feet together so it can't walk, stuck where it is. All of these things are examples of a not normal way to trap. A trapper doesn't trap this way. He wants to take it with him. But you're not trapping it because you want it. You're trapping it because you don't want it to damage you. Now, if you would trap it in a normal way, even though it's for the purpose of not doing damage, that's a problem according to the Rambam. Because after all, Mlachar Sechel Guf is Chayiv. But now that you're trapping it in an unusual way for most trappers, so it's D'Rabbanan. And once again, for Nisa D'Rabbanan, we were lenient, the Chum were lenient in a case that's preventing serious bodily harm, even though it's not death. It's not a threat of death. That's the Chiddush. Yes?
It's like the fly in the drawer. It's not usually you trap like that.
Okay. That's true. But there was other reasons also over there to be lenient, because the fly, even in the drawer, is not really trapped.
You cannot hold it.
Can't really hold it. Plus, flies are not usually the type of thing that people trap because really there's no purpose in it. So we had a few other reasons to be lenient. Yes?
I can catch fly like this with my hand and take the fly outside.
Not on Shabbat.
It's a trap, right?
Shabbat?
It's trap.
Yeah.
If you cup it.
Me.
Do you catch it like this? Or just like swing it outside?
That's interesting. So it's not really...
Technically trapped because of the way the wind and aerodynamics work.
Right.
No, you don't trap it. You just...
No, not hit it.
Not hit it.
It's gonna maybe kill it.
No, we said we can
Right.
not for a blood frame, but we can give him a push a little bit. We said something like that, right?
You can damage them, but you can't mash them.
Yes,
You can damage them, but not mash
when you
them.
push it a little bit with your hand, you don't.
You die eventually. Let's say I hit a fly. Let's say I hit a fly. I hit a fly or a mosquito. I go in front of me. I see it. I go whack on the floor, flapping, and you see it's hurt. Can you break a bone? Can you break a leg or something? Oh, no, bone.
No, he just
breaking legs, breaking.
He's cracking, he's laughing like this.
I don't think breaking a leg is an issue.
I can smack around mosquitoes, just have to make sure. Oh, what if I kill it?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I don't think
Right.
you can. It's going to be too hard
And
to.
I could. The question is that I cannot differentiate what kind of smack is going to kill this one
No.
and not kill that one.
I don't think it's possible.
No, it's possible. I do a lot.
I'm saying, but to know that it's not going to die.
Oh, right. No, that's almost.
I can hold it without killing it. So if I push it, I will not kill it. Because I can when I many times I'm holding it and then I open the window and it's.
You can't have it in your fist with a little bit open.
You're lucky.
And you blow.
Like this.
so it won't come out.
But you still hold his wing and the head.
I can catch mosquitoes with my hands. Let's say I catch a mosquito. And I leave something open here. I don't know. If I caught him with fingers,
But if you don't hold anything in his body, it will fly from that opening.
Right.
So
Leaving a little open. Yeah.
These are hard questions. I don't know. I either don't know the answer. I apologize. All of this is with crawling things that actually do damage. Going for example, snakes and scorpions. Even though they don't actually kill with their bites. They nevertheless do serious damage with their bites. In English, it's called grievous bodily harm. Is that how it's pronounced, grievous or grievous?
Grievous.
Grievous? Okay. Grievous bodily harm. What if it doesn't actually cause any grievous bodily harm? It causes pain. Also, let's say done. A tzira, which is a wasp, a fly, a mosquito, or a flea, all of these are not considered grievous bodily harm. It's not like a snake or a scorpion that is not fatal, that their bites are not fatal. Those are serious bites. These are a pain. That's it. Also, let's say you're not allowed to trap them. It's an Isra Rabbanon, and it's not protecting you from grievous bodily harm. Therefore, you're not allowed to catch a flea that is on your clothes, even if it's gotten under your clothes and it's hanging around near your skin. Even if it's on your skin, but it's not biting you at this moment, also you can't grab it, because grabbing it is Seder. Trapping it.
But with Zika virus and mosquitoes, is that considered potential grievous bodily harm?
Rabbi Shapiro, when I asked him this shaila last summer, or I think it was
you wrote an email about it.
A summer and a half ago. He was of the opinion that it should be mutter in the Zika zone for a pregnant woman, or if there's a pregnant woman in the area. I mean, can't really know you. It could always, if you know.
He is not biting right now. I know he's going to bite me. So it's like a snake. He can bite me, so I can flip it like that.
No, according to Al-Rabbi, you cannot. You cannot, even though some Rishonim say once it's on your skin, you can. It's under your garment, maybe close to your skin. But nevertheless, Al-Rabbi does not pass them like that, and it has to be actually biting you.
So come on, have a lunch.
Exactly. Shabbat, Shabbat meal.
Enjoy it.
Shabbat meal.
I'll take it to my bed. But can I shake it like my hand like this?
Yes, you can shake your hand. La filu, who al that also does it. Even if it's on your flesh and it's not biting you yet, you're not allowed to grab it. But if it's already biting you, while it's biting you, you're allowed to take it and throw it away. Let's say, when you're taking it as it's biting you, it's clear that it's not an action of trapping, but rather it's simply stopping it from biting you. That sort of trapping where it's clear that you're not doing it for the sake of trapping, but rather to prevent pain, that the Chachamim did not forbid, even if it's just pain and not grievous bodily harm. Kevin Shudavar said, remembering that these things are only D'Rabbanan anyway, because normally people don't trap them. What about the fact that it's muktzah and you're picking up a muktzah item? No, when it comes to tsar, the Chachamim were mekel on muktzah. If a wasp is biting you, you're allowed to take it by the hand and throw it. If you can't, just wave it away. יש מתיר לצוד הפרש אפילו מעל בגודם בפנים כאילו שכל צר שם. אפילו מעל חלוקים ובחוץ מנו צדק כאילו שחלוק סמוך לבשר. ואיפה שהפרש משל לבשר יקצנו. Some are lenient, and they allow you to trap it once it's within your garment, because it could do damage there. Or even if it's on your undergarment. Even if it's on the outer side of your undergarment, because it's close to your skin, it's a place that it could end up hurting you. But if it's on your outer garment, everybody agrees you cannot grab it, but you could always shake it off. That's no problem. If it's possible, easily, to knock it off without taking it by hand, you should do so, even if it's on your inner garment. However, let's say it is under your sock. Not so easy to knock it off. How are you going to knock it off? It's going to fall down deeper into your sock, yeah. If you feel it there, it's inside, it's crawling, it's looking to bite.
Remove the sock, right?
So he says, and he has trouble getting rid of it unless he picks it up and takes it out. A person who's relying on a lenient opinion in rabbinic matters, again, this is rabbinic matters for two reasons. First of all, it's not the type of thing that is normally trapped. Second of all, you're doing it in a way that is clear that it's not for the sake of trapping. And of course, according to the most Rishon that hold Melachas Gufas Pater, whenever you trap for the purpose of protecting yourself, it's always a Melachas Gufa. So because it's under Rabbanan, you don't have to be lenient. And if it's under the outer garments and you can't easily shake it off, you're allowed to take it with your hands. No, that's the Chiddush. If it's biting you, everybody agrees you can take it off.
So what's the difference between the hand and the socks?
If it's the hand, you could just knock it off. Knock it off without picking it up. This is Seder. If you knock it off or you shake it off, then it's not Seder.
Knock it off as a flip, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't take it up.
Yeah, I like to do it like that.
But no, not too strong, you can't kill it. But if it's under your sock, where it's not easy to knock it, so that's where he says, Hamekel, you're
allowed to remove the socks and also shake it.
Yeah, for sure. But let's say it's in shul and you can't remove the socks. I mean, a situation where it's not so easy. This is all in reference to catching the flea. But if it's, and to kill it is also according to everybody. I feel I would say, even if it's actually biting you. Let's say for the pain, they only allowed to capture. It's not normally trapped. If it's not called the malacha. When it comes to killing, we don't differentiate between ben mina nitzad and she'en ben mina nitzad. Not about Seder. When it comes to killing, any animal that's alive that comes from parents, there is an Isser d'oraisa to kill. We don't differentiate between things that are normally trapped or not. Nothing to do with that. It's always an Isser d'oraisa. So therefore, the Chachamim were more strict in that case, even if you hold that a Melachas Shechal Gufa is pater, but because it's a standard Melachas Shechal Gufa, Sidra Abanan, they were not makel even in the case of the pain of the bite of these creatures, which again is not grievous bodily harm. It's just a pain. They were not makel on a regular Melacha Shein Tzachal Gufa for the sake of pain. You have to remember, and this says elsewhere in Hilchos Shabbos, that a Melacha Shein Tzachal Gufa, even though it's under Rabbanan, it's very close to a D'oraisa, because it's almost inseparable. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the same action. In your mind, you're thinking, oh, I don't need the hole. I just need the dirt. It's all in your mind. So it's very similar to Melacha D'oraisa, and the Chachamim were not so makel with it like they are on other D'Rabbanans. So therefore, again, if it comes to Tzeda, and you're talking about capturing something that can never be a D'oraisa, because this species is simply not the type that is trapped, so it's a flat-out D'Rabbanan. And therefore, they were makel for the case of protecting you from pain, even though it's not grievous bodily harm. When it comes to killing, which could be a d'oraisa, planning your intent. They were not lenient, even if it's actually biting you. Okay. Even to simply go like that, to roll it, to make sure that its arms and legs are broken, so crumble it. So once you throw it away, it's not coming back. Can't do that either because you might kill it. Chaf ein chayav mishum tilas hashama ela al minei balei chaim she'im parim meravim and not having mizachar on a keva. One is liable for killing only when he kills a living being from a species that reproduces from male and female relationships. Can go into lam kidneys hargan potter. But in contrast, one who kills swarming animals that come into being from feces, from fruit that has rotted, and the like, for example, maggots that are in meat or beans, is exempt. The rationale is that in the sanctuary, the forbidden later of taking the soul involved killing rams, tchashim and chilazim, which all reproduce from male-female relationships. If you find the Alter differentiates between a flea and a louse. Louse, he says, does not come from Zachar Nekeva, spontaneous generation. It comes from the sweat. Okay, so that's much to kill on Shabbos. Parish, he says, also comes from spontaneous generation, but it comes from the earth. It comes from the actual earth. So you'll say, so what's the difference? It comes from the earth. The fact is, it is not coming from a couple. The Alter says, simple. When it comes from the earth, it's different. Because the earth is what we were all created from. All the Zcharim and Nekevas of the entire humanity and animal kind come from the earth. Both the Zachar and the Nekeva come from the earth. So if from the earth is just as good as Zachar and Nekeva. It's a chiddush. When we say this, if you find the louse on your skin, or you found it on your clothes just by chance, not specifically looking for it. But if you are delousing your clothes, you can crush them with your fingers. You can throw them even into water. But you shouldn't actually physically kill them with your own hands. Since you are delousing your clothes, we're afraid in the process of doing that, you also might find fleas, which you might actually kill, and that is an Issur D'Oraisa. So therefore they said don't kill outright lice as well. Now the fact that you're allowed to remove lice when you're delousing them seems like muktzah, but he brings here in the notes from Tiladava that it's like a graf shalri, something disgusting, which you're allowed to move. When we said this from if he's delousing his clothes, but if he's delousing his hair, more like he can actually kill those lice. Because the fleas are not commonly found in the head. So there's no gzei.
So you can put delousing shampoo in, or not shampoo, but poison.
I believe so. I don't see why not. But you cannot use the fine combs to remove the lice, because those are going to pull out hairs as well, and we said that's a big problem in Shabbos. Chaf Aleph. לא ייקח אדם מהקינן מהארץ שואל ומחייץ בהם משום שום מנת אקסיה מן האור, ויש בזה משום גויזז, אף פי שאין מסכם על כך פסיקה של ימסו. A person should not remove lice from the hides of fox of the like, because he will inevitably remove the hair from their skin, the hides. This has been as derivative of the forbidden labor of shearing, even though the person does not do so intentionally. It is an inevitable result of his actions. Okay, back to the Mechaber. Yud, kol chayv remes shehem no shluim misam vadai. Any animal or crawling thing that bites and kills for sure, you can kill them on Shabbos even if they're not running after you. That's a mitzvah. If you see a deadly animal in a human area, right, inhabited area, it's a mitzvah to kill that animal, whether or not it's running after you, because it's around people, it could end up killing someone. That's whether according to the Rambam or according to anybody. A sure mazik of sakanat and flashes, right? It's a mitzvah to kill.
What about a crocodile?
If you can.
You can kill it?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dangerous.
Should I go get my gun and start shooting it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If it's in an area that it could be damaged to kids or to
For example,
people.
there was in this pond, have you ever seen the Hilchos Park?
Lakes Park?
Hilchos Park over here, it's a big pond with a path all around it. There's a playground and grassy areas. So there was an alligator there recently.
Wow.
Crocodile, alligator.
Wow.
But yeah.
So better just to take the kids and go, and then just to stop to mess up and do this thing.
I mean, practically, it's probably better just to call the authorities, because they'll probably do a better job than you will.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
It
But
says that you're not allowed to harass them.
oh, they know that they're there?
Yeah, so there's many signs there.
Wow.
No, that's what you call. You call them, what do you call?
Crocodile.
Mistake, they send those trappers.
Why they don't put fence?
Is it an open waterway? It's open to the wider waterways, or it's just a separate thing, man-made?
I think they closed it recently. But again, there was another one.
I
So
see.
maybe it came from a couple other Oleta openings.
Yeah,
that's
the water
The guy
goes
took
through
a
it.
video. My friend just was doing SPOTUS there many days in a row. I kept seeing it. Just
Wow.
kept going above like the water, see it, coming back down, going back up.
Wow.
Michael enough.
Wow.
Yeah, they go after
They
children.
took a whole video and
Dogs.
came out like onto the road and they flashed the lights and moved back into the bushes.
Wow.
I don't know if it was a crocodile or an alligator. I don't know what the difference between the two technically are. I don't know if one's dangerous and one's not, or one only hurts.
It has to do with the snouts, whether they're narrow or thick.
You're allowed to shoot it with
Very
a
small
gun?
difference.
Crocodile's jaws go down, open down. Open up. Alligators open down. The crocodiles have long, thin ones, and alligators have much more blunt ones.
Sounds right.
You get crocodiles in Egypt and alligators in Florida, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Where was this?
This was here in this area,
You get alligators, not crocodiles there, don't you?
I assume, yeah.
A friend, another friend who lives on that side, right here on the Skyline, right, literally, you cross the road over here, he lives on the water, so he has like a fence or a gate, whatever it is, and then he has like a piece of concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Went outside, there was an alligator just hanging out on the concrete,
Sunning
so he
himself.
went near the gate and he took pictures of it. But yeah, it's right.
Wow.
So technically, I mean, if it's not caught right, he's probably the simplest answer is just leave. But what happens if there's other kids there? You know how to call the authorities in Shabbos?
You're definitely allowed to call the authorities in Shabbos if it's an area that people are.
That
Because it's not just for you, it's for other people. So you can
Kids,
stay
they
away.
cannot see
but
it, and they can walk over there. It's dangerous. Rather
Yeah.
shoot it
would it be
around.
ideal to ask a guy, obviously. Unless if it's
Better.
not pressing.
better if it's not gonna take longer. Better. In general, yes. In general, yes. Specifically, like I said, it's probably better to get other people to do it and know what they're doing. But in theory, yes.
Yeah, it says you're not allowed to harass or harm them.
Oh, just shoot them.
Mushar mazikin, other damaging things, like snakes and scorpions, if they don't kill, if they're running after you, you're allowed to kill them. But if not, also it's aser. But you're allowed to step on them as you're walking, even on purpose. He makes it seem as if he doesn't have kavan. Alter is going to explain this. We'll learn it tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem. That according to the Rambam, you're not allowed to kill these animals that are not actually going to cause grievous bodily harm. Sorry, you're not allowed to kill these animals even if they do cause grievous bodily harm because they're not dangerous. And therefore, if they're not running after you, there's no heter to kill them. The only heter to kill them is to kill them while you're walking. While you're walking, you step on them. Because that's called a shinui. You're killing them with a shinui, in an unusual way. And therefore it's not rabbanon, and they could be lenient. But to kill them in an unusual way is not allowed if they're not actually causing any danger to human life, according to the Rambam. All right, my friends. We have more to learn, but we will hopefully finish the Siman tomorrow. My pleasure. Question?
Some creatures bring, I don't know, illness, I can't think of the term, bacteria, different things.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they're not going to bite you as such, they, by coming into your area, they're leaving behind something that you don't want. That could harm you.
Like what?
Pigeons are one of them.
It's going to do already.
Mashiach is coming.
Mashiach is coming. Amen.
My niece, she is feels sorry. I don't touch any food in our house. So she wanted some chabad.
You were here last night? Oh, we had you here once.
When was that?
Where does she live?
In Hollywood.
Or Rabbi Shmaya. Rabbi Shmaya?
You heard it.
It's a good rabbi. I'll give you his number. It's a good rabbi, yeah.
Any kick him off?
Probably. It's a good man. Okay, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
A pleasure.